Something happened to you on May 16th and 17th. And I do not mean something happened out there in the sky. I mean something happened inside you, in the layer beneath your ordinary awareness, in the place where the real shifts begin before the external world catches up to them. And the reason you found this video today, on May 18th, 19th, or 20th, is because some part of you already knows it. Something shifted. You cannot entirely explain it yet. You may not have words for it. It may be showing up as something that feels like it should have a simple explanation but does not, as a quality in your days that is different from the days that came before May 16th. Even if nothing external has visibly changed, that difference is real. And this video is going to give you the full picture of what is actually happening inside you right now. The 7 specific after effects of the Taurus supermoon new moon that the chosen ones are already experiencing, so that you can work with what is moving in you rather than be confused by it. Stay with me all the way through, because what I share about after effect number 4 and after effect number 5 is going to describe your last 48 hours with a specificity that is going to stop you mid-breath. Let us go into it. Before the 7 after effects, I need to tell you what actually happened on May 16th and 17th. Not the forecast version, the honest version. The new moon that opened in Taurus on May 16th and 17th was a supermoon. The moon at perigee, its absolute closest point to Earth in its monthly orbit, on the exact same day as the new moon itself, which means the gravitational force behind this cycle is not the same as what operates behind a regular new moon. The moon's gravity is what moves the tides of the entire ocean. At perigee, that pull is measurably stronger, scientifically stronger. The tides were higher, the force was more direct, and your body is approximately 60% water. What the supermoon new moon did was not subtle, even if your experience of it felt quiet. Even if nothing dramatic happened on May 16th and 17th, something moved in you that was not moving before, in the layers beneath conscious awareness, in the places where patterns are stored and where beliefs live, and where the actual structure of how you experience your life is maintained. And on May 18th, 19th, and 20th, those movements are beginning to surface, not all at once, not dramatically, but in ways that are specific and recognizable if you know what to look for. Here are the 7 after effects the chosen ones are already feeling. After effect number 1. You woke up on May 17th or 18th feeling like the ground beneath you had rearranged itself slightly while you were sleeping, and you could not explain why. Nothing external changed. Your circumstances were the same. The people in your life were the same. The responsibilities were the same. But something about the quality of your ordinary reality felt different, slightly looser, or slightly more solid, or simply different in a way that did not have a name yet. This is the first and most common post-new moon experience, and it is the one most people dismiss as their imagination, as wishful thinking, as the psychological effect of watching a spiritual video the night before and wanting to feel something. It is not imagination. Here is what is actually happening. The new moon plants energetically before it plants materially, meaning the shift in your inner world, the recalibration of your energetic baseline, the update to the default state your system returns to when left to its own intelligence. That happens on the night of the new moon itself. The external world catches up later, in days, in weeks, sometimes in months. But the feeling of something having changed in the ground beneath your life, that feeling is not in your head. It is the accurate perception of a real internal shift that the external world simply has not yet translated into visible form. The ground genuinely rearranged itself on May 16th and 17th. What you are feeling is your awareness catching up to what already happened. Type in the comments right now. Something shifted. If you woke up on May 17th or 18th feeling like something was different without being able to name what. If the quality of your days since the new moon has a texture that was not there before, something shifted. Because what you acknowledge out loud about this process becomes part of how you integrate it. After effect number 2. Something that felt urgent before May 16th no longer feels urgent, and something that did not seem important has started demanding your attention. This is one of the most disorienting experiences of the post-new moon period, and one of the least understood. Most people interpret the sudden reduction in urgency around something as a loss of motivation. They think they are becoming lazy, losing their drive, falling behind, and the sudden increase in attention towards something they were not previously focused on confuses them further. Is this a distraction? Is this the right direction? How do I know whether this new pull is guidance or avoidance? Let me give you the clear answer. The supermoon new moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus does something very specific to priorities. Uranus, the planet of liberation, of breaking free from what is not genuinely yours, sitting alongside the new moon at its opening, means the new cycle was seeded with a liberating energy directed at anything in your life that was being held in place by habit, fear, or unconscious obligation, rather than genuine alignment. What feels less urgent now, the thing that had you anxious and driven and constantly thinking about it before May 16th, that reduction in urgency is not apathy. That is Uranus showing you what was being held in place by anxiety rather than genuine calling, and what has started demanding your attention. The thing that surfaced as important in the days since the new moon, that is what was waiting beneath the noise of the urgency, what could not make itself heard while the anxiety was loud enough to drown everything else out. The priority realignment you are experiencing in the post-new moon period is not random, it is intelligent. It is showing you something specific about what genuinely belongs in this next chapter versus what you were maintaining out of momentum from the previous one. Pay attention to what is calling for your attention right now, not to immediately act on it. Taurus energy does not reward impulsive action, but to notice it, to acknowledge that the shift in what feels important is real information rather than inconsistency. After effect number 3. Your sleep has changed in the days following the new moon, and your dreams have been more active, more symbolic, more emotionally intense than usual. The nights immediately after a significant new moon, especially a supermoon new moon, with the gravitational force this one carried, are among the most dream-active nights of the entire lunar cycle. But what it plants goes into the subconscious layers first, the deeper territory of the self, where patterns are stored and where the real reorganization of who you are and how you experience your life actually happens. And the subconscious processes what has been planted during sleep. The dreams you are having in the days after May 16th are not random, they are the processing. The images, the emotional intensity, the sense of meaning that some of these dreams carry, even when the narrative of them does not follow ordinary logic. Those are your subconscious mind doing the work of integrating what the new moon planted. The strange dream that stayed with you when you woke, the emotional weight that lingered after a dream whose specific content you cannot fully recall, the feeling of having worked through something during sleep that you cannot name in waking language. These are not symptoms. These are signs that the planting is taking. The new moon reached the places in you that ordinary waking consciousness cannot access directly, and your dreams in the days of May 18th through 20th are the evidence of it working. After effect number 4, and this is the one I said at the beginning would feel the most uncomfortably specific. You have been more emotionally sensitive than usual in the days following the new moon, and you have not been able to entirely explain it. Things that you would normally move through without much reaction have been landing with more weight. A song, a conversation, something you read, something someone said that was not directed at you but reached you anyway. A quiet moment where something moved through you that had no clear cause. And there may also be a tenderness underneath the ordinary surface of your days, a kind of openness that feels both beautiful and slightly exposing, like more is getting through than usual, like the layer that normally filters your experience of the world is thinner than it normally is. This is the after effect that most people pathologize. They label it as being too sensitive, as something being wrong, as the need to toughen up or stop being so affected. Nothing is wrong. What you are experiencing is the specific quality of openness that follows significant energetic planting. Here is the honest parallel. When a field is tilled, when the ground is broken open to receive seeds, it is, for a period after the planting, more exposed than it normally is. The surface is disturbed. The layers that were previously packed down are now loose and open and receiving. And because they are open and receiving, they are also more sensitive to everything that touches them. The emotional sensitivity you are experiencing right now is the energetic equivalent of that. Your inner ground was tilled by the supermoon new moon. It is currently in the most receptive state it will be in during this entire 6-month cycle. And the things that are getting through, the things that are landing with more weight than usual, are landing because you are more open to receive them than you normally allow yourself to be. This is not weakness. This is the most fertile state your inner world will occupy between now and the full moon in November. What reaches you in the post-new moon window of May 18th through 20th matters. Be intentional about what you allow in. Now I want to pause here for a moment. What I just gave you, the understanding of what your emotional sensitivity in the post-new moon period actually means, that is the layer beneath the surface. And there are people watching this video who have been feeling exactly what I just described. The sensitivity, the openness, the things getting through at a depth they do not normally reach, and who have had no framework for what to do with it. No map for how to work with the post-new moon period intentionally, rather than simply moving through it and hoping for the best. That map is not on this channel. Not because I am holding it back, because the depth of guidance that is actually useful in a period like this, specific practices for the post-new moon sensitivity window, the exact understanding of what to protect and what to intentionally allow in during these days, the awareness of how what reaches you right now feeds directly into what grows over the next 6 months. The depth requires a different kind of space. It requires a private space. I built that space. It is called the Lunar Awakening Circle. And I want to say something about it directly that I do not always say. This community is not for everyone. I mean that genuinely. What lives inside the Lunar Awakening Circle, the depth of guidance, the specificity of the practices, the real two-way conversations between people who are actually moving through this work together. That is not for people who are casually interested in astrology or who enjoy spiritual content as background. It is for the person who has been feeling lunar cycles in their body for years and has had no real map for what to do with what they feel. It is for the person who watches these videos and feels the validation that something is real, and then the video ends and the validation fades and the next cycle arrives and nothing has concretely changed. I chose to build this community on school specifically because I am not interested in one-way content delivery. I am not interested in being another channel you consume. I am interested in a real space where real people who see what you see can actually talk to each other, where the conversations happen between members as much as they happen from me, where the isolation that most of the chosen ones carry, the specific loneliness of perceiving things that most people around you cannot follow, begins to dissolve in the presence of others who understand without needing it explained. Every month inside the Lunar Awakening Circle, you receive new moon guidance before the new moon opens, not after it has already begun. Full moon guidance before the full moon peaks, weekly energy breakdowns for every significant day of the cycle, delivered before those days arrive. A monthly lunar calendar, your complete map for the entire month, in your hands at the start of each month. Think about what that access is actually worth. Private lunar guidance delivered before every significant cosmic event of your month. The kind of depth that used to be available only through private practitioners charging $200, $300, $500 per session. All in one private space built for real conversation and real community. The private community link is in the description of this video. It is also pinned at the very top of the comment section below. This is not for everyone, but if something in your chest said yes while I was speaking, that yes is worth paying attention to. After effect number 5, you have been having thoughts about something specific, a beginning, a direction, a version of your life that keep returning with a persistence that ordinary thoughts do not have. Not a daydream, not wishful thinking, something more insistent than that. Something that comes back even when you try to move past it, that surfaces in the quiet moments between tasks, that appears at the edge of your awareness when you are doing something else entirely. This is the new moon doing its work. Here is what is happening. The Taurus new moon planted something in you on May 16th and 17th in the subconscious layers, in the territory of the self that operates below conscious direction. And what was planted is now beginning, in the days of May 18th through 20th. It's first reaching toward the surface, not as a fully formed plan, not as a clear directive, as a thought that keeps returning, as a pull that will not accept being permanently dismissed. This is the seed breaking its shell. The thing that keeps returning to your awareness in the days following the new moon is not random. It is not distraction. It is not your mind making patterns where there are none. It is the first sign of life from what was planted. And the appropriate response to the first sign of life from a seed is not to immediately analyze it to death, not to immediately question whether it is the right direction, or whether the timing makes sense, or whether you are capable of what it seems to be asking. The appropriate response is to notice it, and to know, to acknowledge it as real, to stop dismissing it as coincidence or wishful thinking, and start treating it as the communication it is. Because what you acknowledge in the post-new moon period, what you allow to be real in your awareness, rather than managing it back down below the surface, becomes the shoot that eventually breaks through the ground into visible form. What you keep dismissing stays in the dark, and seeds that cannot break through the surface do not become harvests. What is returning to your awareness right now? Type it in the comments. Not the full story, not the explanation. Just the one word or phrase that names the direction that has been returning. Just name it, because what you name in a post-new moon window carries a weight that the same naming on an ordinary day does not. After effect number 6. The people and situations in your life are revealing themselves more clearly than they normally do, and some of what is being revealed is uncomfortable. This is the Uranus effect of the new moon making itself felt in the post-portal period. Uranus conjunct the new moon on May 16th and 17th seeded a liberating energy into this cycle, a force directed specifically at what is not genuinely yours, at the things being maintained in your life out of habit, obligation, fear of what would change if you stopped maintaining them. And in the days following the new moon, that liberation energy does not stay in the abstract, it gets practical. It shows up in your actual life, in the specific relationships and situations and patterns that are not genuinely aligned with who you have become, in the places where you have been performing a version of yourself that no longer fits, in the dynamics that were sustainable when you were a smaller version of yourself, but that are increasingly uncomfortable now that you are not. The discomfort you may be feeling in certain relationships or situations right now, the friction that has appeared where things were previously smooth, or the sudden clarity about something you had been keeping deliberately blurry. That is not problems arising. That is honesty arriving. Uranus, in the post-new moon period, does not create the problems it reveals. It illuminates what was already true, and what it is illuminating right now. In the relationships, the situations, the patterns that are showing themselves more clearly than they normally allow, is showing you something specific about what belongs in the chapter that the new moon opened, and what does not. This information is uncomfortable, because honest information about what no longer fits is always uncomfortable. But it is not punishing you, it is equipping you. The clarity that Uranus is producing in the post-new moon days of May 18th through 20th is the most useful navigational information you will receive in the early days of this cycle. What is being revealed is showing you where the genuine growing needs to happen, and where the clearing needs to continue before the new thing can take root fully. Do not look away from what is being shown. After effect number 7, and this is the one that everything in this video has been building toward. You feel, beneath rational thought, beneath the analytical mind's constant evaluation of what is and is not possible, a quiet but persistent sense that something has genuinely changed. Not the hopeful feeling of a fresh start, not the artificial optimism of deciding to be more positive, not the temporary high of inspiration that fades by the following week. something more foundational than any of those. A knowing, the specific quality of internal certainty that does not arrive through reasoning, that cannot be produced by effort or sustained by willpower, that either is present or it is not, and when it is present, it is unmistakable. A knowing that the chapter you were living before May 16th is complete, not destroyed, not erased, complete. In the way that a chapter of a book is complete when the story it was telling has been told, and continuing to read the same words would not add anything to the story. And a knowing, quieter but equally certain, that what begins in this new cycle is not a continuation of the previous one. It is something genuinely new, something that does not have a template yet, something that the previous version of you did not have the specific configuration of experience and growth and honest reckoning that this version of you has, something that required you to become who you have become before it could begin. The knowing you are feeling is not wishful thinking. It is the most honest and most reliable form of intelligence you have access to. And it is telling you that the shift is real, not incoming, not approaching, already having happened in the layers beneath your ordinary awareness, in the territory that the supermoon new moon reached. The external world has not caught up yet. It will, but the shift has already happened. And what you do in the days of May 18th through 20th, how you move through the post-new moon period with awareness or without it, determines how quickly and how fully the external world catches up to the internal shift that has already occurred. Type in the comments right now, the shift is real. If after effect number 7 landed, if there is a knowing underneath everything else happening in your life right now that something has genuinely changed. If the quality of your inner experience since the new moon is different in a way you cannot entirely attribute to wishful thinking. The shift is real, because declaring what you know in a post-new moon window gives it the weight of conscious acknowledgement. And what the conscious mind acknowledges, the external world begins to organize around. Now let me give you the specific practices for May 18th through 20th, because awareness of the 7 after effects is only useful if it changes how you move through these days. And moving through the post-new moon period with intention looks very different from moving through it unconsciously. The first practice is for May 18th. Mercury reaches perihelion today, its closest point to the Sun, which means the planet governing communication and the mind is at maximum proximity to the Sun's clarifying light. This makes May 18th the single best day of the post-new moon period for one specific activity, articulating what you planted. The new moon planted something in you, in the subconscious layers, in territory that exists below language, and now Mercury at perihelion is giving your conscious mind its sharpest and most direct capacity for translating what lives below language into the language of the mind. On May 18th, write one sentence on physical paper that completes this. I am building, not a paragraph, not a list of everything you want to create in this cycle. One sentence, the clearest, most honest, most specific articulation you can produce of the direction the new moon seeded in you. That sentence, written on May 18th, with Mercury's perihelion clarity behind it, becomes the verbal root system of the seed that was planted on May 16th, the invisible planted knowing, given the permanence of language. Write it today if you have not already. The second practice is for May 19th. The moon moves into conjunction with Venus today. Venus is the ruler of Taurus, the sign of the new moon. And having Venus conjunct the moon 2 days into the growing phase of the Taurus new moon cycle is like having the sign's ruling planet come back to visit the seed and confirm it is real. Venus governs what feels genuinely right, what fits, what creates that specific internal sense of ease and alignment that is impossible to manufacture and impossible to fake when it is genuinely absent. Venus conjures Hetson. On May 19th, notice what feels right, not what should feel right, not what you have been telling yourself feels right, what actually does. Where does your energy move toward without effort? What situation, what person, what activity creates the specific quality of this fits in a way that is not accessible through forcing? That feeling, Tracked honestly on May 19th is Venus showing you the territory your new moon seed is growing toward, confirming the direction, giving you the first real sense of what the harvest will feel like when November arrives. Let it be information rather than something to be immediately acted on. Simply notice it, write it down, hold it as confirmation. The third practice is for May 20th. The moon moves into conjunction with Jupiter today. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, of growth beyond the current container, of what becomes possible when what has been building in a limited space finally has room to spread. In the context of a cycle that is only 4 days old, in the context of a seed that was planted less than a week ago, Jupiter conjunct the moon on May 20th is the energy of expansion arriving early. And the specific danger of Jupiter in the first week of a new cycle is that it creates the feeling of possibility expanding faster than the actual root system can support. The seed is 4 days old. The root system is still forming. Jupiter is showing you the full height of the plant before the roots are established enough to hold it. On May 20th, feel the expansion. Let the vision be as large as Jupiter is trying to make it. Let yourself see the full size of what this cycle has the potential to grow into. And then come back to the ground. Come back to the seed. Come back to the patient, unhurried, one step at a time energy that Taurus has always known is how real things are actually built. Jupiter on May 20th is showing you the preview of the harvest. Taurus reminds you that the harvest requires 6 months of tending. But of go, hold both. The vision and the patience, the expansion and the ground. There are 2 kinds of people who will watch this video. The first kind will feel the 7 after effects landing, will recognize themselves in specific signs with a specificity that feels too accurate to be coincidence, will understand, genuinely understand that something has shifted since May 16th, and will close this video and continue moving through the post-new moon period exactly as they have moved through every previous post-new moon period. Without the map, without the specific day-by-day awareness that allows you to actually use what you feel instead of simply feeling it, without the depth of guidance that would allow the post-new moon period to produce something lasting rather than simply passing through. The second kind will recognize something else in this video. They will recognize that the frustration they have been carrying, the quiet, persistent frustration of feeling every lunar cycle and arriving at the next one in approximately the same place, is not a failure of their dedication, is not a sign that this work is not real, is not evidence that the energy they feel is not actually changing anything. It is a sign that they have been working without the full map. They will make a decision that most people watching this video will not make. For the second kind of person, I have something to say. The Lunar Awakening Circle is 2 weeks old. The founding members who are inside it right now moved through May 16th and 17th with the full map. They had the new moon guidance before it opened, the specific practices, the hour-by-hour awareness, the exact understanding of what this supermoon conjunct Uranus was asking of them in the hours before the portal peaked. They had the context that made the after effects of May 18th through 20th recognizable rather than confusing. They are not experiencing the 7 after effects without a framework. They are experiencing them with one. And the difference between feeling a shift and understanding what the shift is asking of you, between being in the post-new moon period with awareness and being in it without, is not a small difference. It is the difference between a month that produces something lasting and a month that passes. Inside the Lunar Awakening Circle, you receive 8 videos every month. New moon guidance before the new moon opens. Full moon guidance before it peaks. Weekly energy breakdowns for every significant day of the cycle before those days arrive. A complete monthly lunar calendar in your hands on the 1st of each month. And the private community itself, built on school because I am interested in real conversation between people who understand each other, not in broadcasting content to a passive audience. This is where the chosen ones, who are done watching from the outside, come when they are ready to be inside. The private community link is in the description of this video and pinned at the very top of the comment section. This is not for everyone. But the person who has made it to this point in this video, who recognized themselves in all 7 after effects, who felt the knowing of after effect number 7 land in a specific and quiet way, that person already knows whether they are the second kind. The link is below. Here is what I need you to carry with you through the rest of May 18th, 19th, and 20th. The shift that happened on May 16th and 17th is real, not incoming, already happened. In the layers beneath your ordinary experience, in the territory of yourself that the supermoon new moon reached, the external world is catching up, and these 3 days, May 18th through 20th, are not the aftermath of the new moon. They are the first days of what the new moon began. Move through them with the awareness this video has given you. Write the 1 sentence on May 18th. Notice what feels right on May 19th. Hold the vision and come back to the ground on May 20th. And pay attention to the 7 after effects as they continue to develop, because they are not passing through you. They are showing you what is growing. The seed the supermoon planted is real, and real seeds, planted in honestly prepared ground, with the full gravitational force of the closest lunar approach of the month behind them, grow. Not quickly, not dramatically, not in ways that will be visible tomorrow morning, but with the slow, patient, permanent certainty that Taurus has always known is how real things are actually built. Real things built slowly, real things that stand. The blue moon is coming on May 31st, and what it illuminates, what it shows you about the direction the seed is growing, is something I do not want you to navigate without awareness. That video is coming. Subscribe, turn on every notification, come back for it. Because what is growing in you right now, in these quiet, ordinary-looking days of May 18th through 20th, is not ordinary, and you deserve to know what it is becoming. See you in the next one.